let's get to all the Sunday action here. Let's start Cleveland Browns 27.
Okay.
Tennessee Titans 3. The Browns move to 2-1. Titans fall to 1-2. But the Browns defense once again, unbelievable. If you take out the 2 defensive touchdowns that were against the Browns on Monday Night Football by the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Browns defense has now allowed 20 points in the last 3 games. 3 points to the Bengals, 14 to the Steelers, and then 3 yesterday to the Tennessee Titans. Myles Garrett turns the pass rush win rate into 4 sacks by our numbers. He tackled the quarterback 4 times. I think the NFL probably had him with 3.5.
3.5.
But dominant performance again by this Browns defense.
Yeah, the Browns defense looks really good. And it's the combination of the talent that was always there and just wasn't playing up well. The addition of new talent, guys they brought in that are playing well. And then Jim Schwartz doing his part to make the scheme part of the defense as well, is making that group look like, by far the best defense in the NFL through 3 weeks. They look absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they do. So just, starting with Myles Garrett, he was unblockable once again. There were multiple plays where, I like to do this. You freeze frame. You freeze frame the top of the pocket. And so like Ryan Tannehill would get to the top of the pocket and Myles Garrett was standing right next to him. Yeah. That was never good.
No.
So there's a couple plays in there where Garrett and other pass rushers are just into the backfield. This is one, though, it's not just, hey, the talent figured it out. Like the Browns spent the offseason doing this. The Browns spent the offseason adding Zadarius Smith and Obo Okoronkwo and Dalvin Tomlinson, pushing guys like Alex Wright down the depth chart so he doesn't have to play 700 snaps like he did last year, and it's benefiting everybody up front for the Browns.
Myles Garrett had the most pass rushes on the team. Also a pass rush win rate of 35%, like last week's 40%. It's like, that doesn't mean anything. He didn't get home. Well, this is why it means something, because next week he's going to go and get home 4 times. Anyway, he had the most pass rushes of the team, but numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are new players on the team. So Myles Garrett's doing what he's always done, but now the next 5 guys in the lineup are new. So absolutely, like reinforcements in the offseason have made a huge difference.
Couple things that stood out here. So Derrick Henry finishes with 11 carries for 20 yards for the Titans.
Is Derrick Henry being phased out of the offense? He's being outsnapped now by Tajay Spears, the rookie.
Yeah, I wonder
2 out of the 3 games.
How much of that was just game flow? You're down.
But isn't this this feels a bit like Minnesota, Adrian Peterson, where, at the beginning of Adrian Peterson's career, he's on the field every snap because he's your best player. Now, he was always their best player, but late in his career, they're like, you know what? You can't really be on the field in passing downs. We're going to put random-ass running backs there instead because you're not any good at blocking and you're not a particularly good pass catcher, and this is what we do on passing downs. So you end up getting out-snapped by some rando that nobody's ever heard of. Like, now, look, I think Tajay Spears is a good running back, but, it feels like the same idea, right? Like, if we're taking Derrick Henry off the field in these situations, we're rather underutilizing Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how much of that is him not, the game flow deal, him not being as part of the pass game. But look, we've seen Derrick Henry start slow at other times.
We haven't seen him being removed from the field though.
No, I get it.
It's a new dynamic.
11 carries for 20 yards for Henry, and 6 of those carries were against 8-man boxes. Right, that's one of Jim Schwartz's things. They're stacking the box, and they did a nice job shutting down Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears. So it became a one-dimensional Titans passing attack that featured Ryan Tannehill getting sacked on 5 of his 30 dropbacks. So it was just ugly across the board for Tennessee because, again, the credit goes to the Browns and their defense.
And that's not going to help, by the way. If you're saying Derrick Henry now doesn't really play on passing downs, you're rather sending up a smoke signal that it's a Derrick Henry carry when he comes on the field, which is only going to increase the number of people right in his path as you're trying to get Derrick Henry runs to go anywhere. That doesn't feel dramatically helpful as an offense.
3 weeks in for Tennessee, we've got 2 pretty disastrous offensive performances and a really nice crisp one in the middle against the Chargers at home. Tough to make of what they're going to be consistently, week in, week out. One other note here, minus 4.1 EPA per play for the Titans on first and second down. That means every time they ran a first or second down play, they were almost giving a point to the Cleveland Browns. 0.41.
I mean, they had 6 first downs in the game.
Oh, yeah, it was bad.
They had 94 net yards.
And because it was so bad for Tennessee, I think it's overlooked the fact that Deshaun Watson, first off, Deshaun Watson had his cleanest game
In a long
time for the Browns. But he also went full Aaron Brooks, Sam.
Yeah.
He went full Aaron Brooks. Do people realize what it's like to go full Aaron Brooks on a play?
People don't know who Aaron Brooks was.
I've got the video fired up. I tweeted it out earlier this year because it's like once a year I just have to remember.
You just did you splice it with you need the Watson one side by side.
Yeah, I got to figure out. I need somebody to help to do that. Brooks in the standard def and Watson from yesterday.
The stats don't tell you enough of the picture of what that was, because it's like 27 of 33, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 2 big-time throws, and 1 turnover-worthy play, right? You probably have a picture in your mind of what a turnover-worthy play looks like. It's not what Deshaun Watson did,
So, yeah, Aaron Brooks back in 03 or 02, whenever it was, kind of gets like spun around. He loses his bearings, and he just chucks it backwards, directly backwards. And that's what Watson did yesterday. I don't know, how does that happen? You just lost your bearing? You didn't know, you thought you were throwing toward the line of scrimmage, but Deshaun Watson threw the ball directly backwards yesterday.
It can happen.
That's a fumble, by the way.
Yeah.
In the NFL. So
I accidentally tackled a teammate once because I thought I was facing the wrong direction. Somebody scooped up the ball and started running. I'm like, uh-oh. I took him down. It was a good tackle. Now, I was on the wrong person.
That's the type of stuff I wish we had recorded.
Look, stuff happens. You get spun around. You don't quite know what way you're facing, and you just feel somebody pick up a ball and start running. You're like, I got to stop that touchdown. I stopped it. Play was dead right there.
So other than that play, Deshaun Watson played pretty well. Amari Cooper with 7 catches for 116.
He got hosed out of a touchdown, right? Didn't they say he'd stepped out when he clearly didn't?
Did they end up saying he stepped out?
I thought they had, right? Did they?
I don't know. That's another one. When I'm watching 9 games, I'm like, oh, they're doing a review.
I don't have time.
And I don't always,
I don't have time to see the outcome.
I'm not going to sit and stare at the review. But I know Cooper had a couple passes where he was wide open behind the secondary. Nick Chubb's injury.
Because I think they blew a whistle on it.
Oh, that's what it was, yeah.
At which point it can't be anything other than stopped dead, right?
With Nick Chubb's injury, the Browns did not get much going on the ground. Jerome Ford, who had that really nice Monday night game, only 10 carries for 18 yards. Didn't really matter, though. The Browns dominating this game.
It's also, that turnover-worthy play that we mentioned with Deshaun Watson, his grade is going to end up pretty good. His numbers are obviously spectacular. For that to be the case with that play in there suggests, just how clean a game he did have. Played really well. That was close to the old version of Deshaun Watson as we've seen, certainly when he was with the Browns, but for a long, long time. The one other thing I wanted to bring up in this game is, did you see that play where Myles Garrett was being followed by 2 tight ends side to side, right? The Titans were lining up with 2 extra tight ends, and they were literally tracking Myles Garrett, who was in motion before the snap, going, sort of wandering around, going left side, right side, and they were doing this so close to the snap, they ended up having to burn a timeout, right? And the thing is, it doesn't really matter what the reason for it was, right? There's 2 possible explanations. Either those tight ends were assigned, hey, Myles Garrett is murdering us right now, go and make sure he doesn't do that again on this play, right? Line up wherever he lines up, block him, help the tackle, please, for the love of God, make this play work, right? Or they were simply lining up whichever side they thought, was the strong side, and that was their assignment on the play. It actually doesn't matter what the answer was, because whether or not Myles Garrett individually is being assigned that kind of attention, or he was capable of individually changing what they were doing on offense in terms of strong side, weak side, and was able to move around before the snap and screw up the play. So either it's on an individual personal level, he's ruining the play, or on an individual personal level within the scheme, he's ruining the play. Either way, they've potentially just discovered this cheat code of motion in defense. You see what the Dolphins are doing right now, motion on offense. If you're able to screw up the offensive play call by running an edge rusher left to right, that's potentially huge for a defense.
Yeah, there was there was a play in the Colts-Ravens game that was similar, where there was the...
Because defenses have done, like, pre-snap shifts and stuff, where everyone jumps a gap to the right or whatever, like moving around slightly before the snap.
Yeah, but literally flipping your strong side edge
to
defender
screw that kind of stuff up. Or they'll, flip over one play. But one guy being able to basically just run to the other side of the lineup and completely banjacks the entire blocking scheme is not something that's been messed with before too much.
The Titans were absolutely banjaxed yesterday, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Weren't they? So, Browns 27-3. Very close to being 3-0 if they weren't, if the offense didn't blow it against the Steelers on Monday Night Football.
I mean, that defense is looking absolutely phenomenal. And for the first time, the offense suggested that it could hold up its end of the bargain, and that's without Nick Chubb. If that ends up being the case, I mean, the Browns are that's a for real team.